Welcome to the KBB Review podcast. My name is Matt Baker, and this is the next instalment of our special episodes around the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards 2026. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our awards podcast sponsor, Sonas Bathrooms. They returned once again this year to support the awards podcast, and we're very lucky to have them on board. You can find out everything you need to know about Sonas Bathrooms at sonasbathrooms.com, and I'll make sure that link is in the episode description. So, the big event is almost upon us. In just a few days, we'll know who of the finalists have won each coveted award. Here at KBB Review, we've been putting together the final pieces of the puzzle. Event signage has gone to the printers, the table plan has been laid out, and at the time of recording, the trophies have just been delivered. So as you can imagine, this event takes some organising, and the team behind it operates like a well-oiled machine. In fact, Managing Editor Andy Davies and I were talking in the office the other day and realised that the 2026 awards happens to be his 20th awards event. And given we've done quite a few of these now, I've drafted in Andy to today's episode to talk about how the awards have developed over the years. Hello Andy.
Hello Matt, how are you?
I'm very good, how's you?
I'm a bit exhausted now. We are counting down, it's a matter of hours and days now until the awards and the KBB show. And as you can imagine, it's all a bit fraught. But we're doing all right, we're okay, we're nearly there.
But big question though, can you still fit in your suit?
It takes a lot of preparation, this event, Matt, least of which, if I put my suit on in January, it would not have got round my waist. But hopefully now I'll be able to squeeze into it one more time.
Hopefully. So we're going to talk about the awards today because it's, as I said, it is your 20th event. I mean, the awards have been going on for a lot longer than that. Yeah. But it's your personal 20th event, and you've seen it changed over the years, and the world has changed a lot over that time.
It certainly has.
So I guess the first question I have for you really is just, what's the philosophy behind the awards? What makes it tick? Why do we do it?
Well, you know what? It has changed a lot over the last 20 years, but the fundamental point of it hasn't changed, which is, you know, it's a celebration of everything that's great about KBB independent retail. And, you know, we want to give trophies to the best retailers and the best designers. It's that part of it's all quite fundamental. But as a kind of, it's interesting the word philosophy, because we do have a kind of principle behind it that we do try and stick to. And that has been quite a thread and a seam all the way through it, which is they have to be an award worth winning. We have to be very clear and transparent and open about how we judge those winners and make sure that the people who do win think they've earned it. And the flip side of that is we always then try and put on the best party of the year for the industry at the same time. And I think the combination of those two things is really what makes these awards actually what they are, is because we acknowledge that there are two sort of separate things going on at play there. And we do try and marry those two things together so that everybody who experiences it, whether you're up for an award or not, feels that it's a very special evening.
Yeah, and I guess, we're quite passionate about this. And so with that comes a lot of frustration. So what is it that frustrates you about the awards?
What frustrates me about it? Well, weirdly, I always describe it as trying to arrange a wedding reception for nearly 900 people all at once. And all the machinations that go on with that of trying to keep people and competitors apart and all that kind of thing. But that's kind of par for the course. The real thing that frustrates me about it is people still think it's a bit of a fix and a fiddle. It's people's cynicism about it is what frustrates me more than anything, because we do try very hard to be very open and transparent. But there are always going to be people who think that there's a motivation behind why we've chosen the winners that isn't just that the judges thought they were the best on the day. So that is always very frustrating, because it is something that I work hard on and everybody here works very hard on. And for somebody to sort of say, oh, it's all a bit of a fix, is very frustrating. I tell you what really frustrates me though more than anything else, Matt, and it's one of the things that's really changed over the last 20 years, is how many more people have dietary requirements.
Yes.
20 years ago, you might have had half a dozen vegetarians, right? Now there's vegans, there's vegetarians, there's pescatarians. There's no pork, no fish, no beef. There's loads of them. Did you know you could just be allergic to white rind cheese? I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mollusks. All these kind of,
I know about mollusks. I've seen that happen.
Yeah. Now, and the one thing I'd really like to underline here, and the message I'd like to get across, is there's a big difference, Matt, between a dietary requirement and just not liking something.
Yes.
There is a difference. And if you just don't like mushrooms, I'm really sorry we can't accommodate that. That's not the same as being allergic to mushrooms.
Exactly. Do you get lots of odd requests then?
We do. We had one every year where someone in block capitals and 3 exclamation marks would just go, "No lobster."
Okay.
As if we're going to give lobster to 850 people. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. I do get it. People are very particular about what they eat, but yeah, we have to feed that many people in one go, and that in itself is a task. I mean, I don't get involved in that. Clearly, I'm not out the back peeling spuds. Thank God.
And so you talked about that, but it changes over the years. So how does the awards reflect those changes in the industry?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think we are a little snapshot in time of what the industry is in that moment in a strange kind of way. And what I've seen a lot over the years, because we obviously have design categories and we have retail categories, so they're two sort of separate trends. Design has got a million times better. It's got a million times more sophisticated and a million times more precise and detailed. And I think a big part of that is the skill of the designer, obviously, but the other part is the palette that is at their disposal. So particularly in, say, bathrooms, there used to be you sort of plonk the product around the room, whereas now it's a much more thought through, considered overall interior design job. Whereas before, a bathroom retailer, and the same applies for kitchens, would do the kitchen or they would do the bathroom. Whereas now they're doing the flooring, the tiles, the building work, the soft furnishing. Everything about it is now much more of an all-complete picture than it certainly used to be. And in the retail side of things, I just think people's, it sounds an awful way to put it because it implies it was never the case, but their professionalism has become much, much higher. And again, they have a much more considered overview of what the point and purpose of independent retail is. And therefore, the focus on customer service, the focus on a turnkey service, the focus on giving the customer something incredibly special, a really special experience, has really changed and gone through the roof. And this year in particular, I mean, it was some of the stuff that was in there was absolutely fantastic. And the stuff that there's people that are not getting in the top four that would have walked away with the trophy 6 or 7, 8 years ago. So it is amazing. The standard of it all just goes up and up and up, and it's fantastic to see.
I have to say, having the privilege again of sitting in on the design judging days, where obviously the second stage is the designs have been submitted and we've got the finalists, and then we actually interview them, and it's that key stage where you really see. I'm wowed at the level of detail that goes into things, that the things that people think of. And I think I never, ever would have thought of that when it comes to a room design. And that's the bit I really love. My personal favorite bit about the Hull Awards is just hearing designers talk about their designs, why they made those design choices, the problems they're trying to face. And I love that because it really shows we are an industry full of expertise, and no one can wing it. No one can, fake it in this industry. You are your designs essentially. So I love seeing that and hearing the judges deliberate and saying, "Oh, we love that. Oh, we're not sure about that." It's great to see, really. I think it kind of shows that design is alive and well.
And what's really important, and in the designs as well as the retail categories, is how much the customer is at the centre of everything.
Yeah. And
how much serving the customer in the best way possible is everyone's ultimate goal. And whether that's about the showroom, whether that's about the retail experience, whether that's about the design, it all comes down to that customer in the end. And maybe we're very lucky and very privileged to get to see all those entries, and we see how important that is to people. And it's one of those things you sometimes wish you could give trophies to everyone, don't you? But that'd be very expensive.
Yes, it would be. I do think it would be good to have like a behind the scenes film. If we had like a TV crew follow us around or follow the judges around, and you could really see exactly what goes into these awards.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'm most proud of these awards actually is we introduced that second stage of judging, which no other awards do really in this sector, which to me, but I can't imagine not doing it this way now, is that people send their entries in and we shortlist from those entries, but then in the design category, the designers have to present their design to the judges, and the judges get to quiz them. Why did you put that there? Why did you choose that? And as you say, that's a fantastic bit to be in the middle of when that's happening. But the same thing goes for the retail categories, where the judges go to see the showroom and they go to see the business and they meet them and they sit down with them and talk through all their plans with them. And that's what I meant earlier on about feeling like you've earned the win if you do win it. And actually, you've earned the finalist slot as well, because the judges don't muck about. They do, ask the questions. How can you judge showroom of the year if you've never stood in the showroom? That's what I think. And that was a big leap forward we did. I mean, it's a dozen years ago now, but that's made a real difference, I think, to the actual value of the award.
I think we had design judges before in previous episodes of the podcast. We had, in this run of the series, we've had the business categories talking about how they were impressed with the things they've seen and the way they judge things. And it's interesting. We go into detail.
And it changes their minds.
Yeah.
And the one you think is going to walk away with it after the shortlisting, lots of the time doesn't, because of that second stage. So it's always fascinating, yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously this is part of the KBB show, and on the offbeat year, what I call the offbeat year, we go on the road and we take it elsewhere. So we've gone to many different locations over the years. So what is your favourite location and why?
Oh. Well, Blackpool Tower last year was really special. Doing that in the ballroom was so brilliant. And it's just an amazing space to stand in the middle of when it's empty, let alone when there's a room full of people there. And I think there was just a real kind of buzz about the whole thing. People were just so excited to go to Blackpool, A, and then B, to go to sit in the tower. And I came up through the stage on the organ. That was what an experience that was. So that's a real highlight for me. I think, actually, though, when we did Liverpool Cathedral, that's the real one, I think, for two reasons really. One is because, well, three reasons. One is, what a spectacular place. I mean, just astonishing. But it was also the first one post-COVID. And if everyone remembers, we actually did that in the September of 2021 because, of all the restrictions and all the, and everyone has to do a COVID test on the way in and all that kind of thing. So it was the first event that really happened after COVID. And there was a sort of emotion to that, I think, because people were really wondering whether we'd ever get to do these things again. And so that was a big deal. And of course, I'm from Liverpool. It was my hometown. And, my brother and my sister-in-law were there, and my cousin had turned up. And it was just a real sort of emotional thing about it, which is, you never thought this event could be. And weirdly, all the production crew that we use, and we've used so many of them, same guys all the way through the years, that was their first event coming out of COVID. And they were event professionals. They had their entire livelihood had gone for a year and a half. And they were wondering whether they'd ever get to work again. And so it was very emotional for them too, because they were all hugging each other. It was a really, really beautiful experience, actually.
But walking in and just having, if I remember rightly, we had the choir almost like on the bridge, like above us. And it's like you walked in, it was this beautiful setting. This choir was singing down, raining down on you. And it's like, I was getting emotional. Like, we're back.
Well, do you remember when they did the rehearsal and we were all there putting names on tables and, checking drinks orders and all that kind of thing. And the choir started singing and everybody just stopped. Yeah. Everybody just stopped and we all just had a lump in our throats. This choir was singing Lean on Me. Do you remember? Oh my God.
Great event.
Yeah.
That was a great event. So that's your favourite location, but what mistakes have we made over the years?
Oh God.
Like, what have you learnt from?
Well, some of it's very technical because what you learn over the years doing it is to do it as quickly as possible. And that's not to take anything away from people, but you've got 800 plus people in a room and you need to give the awards out. Don't take time to worry about highly commendeds or speeches, because you have to keep everyone's attention all the time. That's what you're trying to do, is keep everyone's attention. So you're trying to tighten the whole thing up as you go, because just think about the food, just the logistics of feeding 850 plus people in a room and getting them all the puddings out at once.
Yeah.
And they all want their drink, and that kind of thing. So you've got to keep everyone's attention. So there's lots of kind of technical bits like that you've picked up through the years. But then, what mistakes have we made? Particularly in Birmingham, people do like a drink, Matt.
Yes, that has been quite evident.
People do like a drink. And so you have to be very conscious all the time of, and I don't drink on the night. People always ask me if I'm having a good time. And it's like, no, of course I'm not. I'm working.
I'm
right?
scared to death, yeah.
So you're always conscious of basically tracking the drunkest people in the room, I suppose. And so, yes, sometimes I've helped people outside for a breath of fresh air, or I've helped people up to their room sometimes, or you have to be very conscious all the time of people are having a good time. And sometimes having a good time can be... What I love is when people get into the room, they've literally just arrived, and they've probably spent ages getting ready. But as soon as they sit down at the table, the jacket comes off, the sleeves gets rolled up, and it's like, yeah, I'm drinking now. Drinking now.
That is the thing, though, isn't it? It's half party, half admin, because it is, giving out awards, we've done all the work. It's now just the admin side of it, essentially. It's really weird. It's like we've made admin sexy. Like, do you know what I mean? By handing out awards, but it's still a party.
The hardest part, weirdly, is that I obviously know who's won, and so do you.
Yeah.
So you're kind of bumping into finalists going, oh, good luck for tonight. And of course, whether they've won or not, And so there's a part of you that has to keep this kind of poker face all the way through, which is really quite weird.
So we are going to crown some winners. What are you most looking forward to about this year's awards the most?
Doing it weirdly, I know the Hilton isn't exactly the same as a cathedral or a tower ballroom, but actually it's almost a spiritual home for the awards in many ways, the Hilton, because it's alongside the KBB show. We've done it there so many times that there's a sort of fantastic familiarity to it. The theme we've got is fantastic. We've got a live band and everything this year, which I always love. So we that's always great to hear the music, and just to hear music play loudly through that PA. God, some of it's spectacular. I do love giving awards out to people who really genuinely aren't expecting it, or to give it to people who haven't won before, or people who have entered lots of times but never really got that far, and then suddenly I know that they've won, and seeing that reaction.
Rising Star as well. It's great to see young people being rewarded for hard work.
Oh God, totally. And that really, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of preparation, it's quite fiddly and all those things, but the moment somebody jumps out of their seat and screams because they've won, you just think, oh, that's what it's all about. It's perfect. They're the moments that you really enjoy watching, because I'm obviously knows won, so I'm hovering, and then you see someone genuinely lose it because they've won, and you see how much it means to them, and you just think, oh, there you go, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you do. It's easy to forget that you're working so hard throughout the year, and then you rock up to something like this, and when you win, it's almost like all that energy is just expelled. All in one go, it's just expelled, isn't it? Because you just think, when you finally sort of rewarded for that hard work, it's so satisfying, and even like just watching it play out in front of you, so satisfying.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That's the best bit about it.
Yeah. So, well, Andy, that's a great place to end on this episode, I think. I guess now we need to go and check on everyone's names, check that they're spelt correctly on the
dietary requirements.
Dietary requirements. No one's missing from the table plan, so no one's eating dinner like on their lap in the corner of the room.
So that'll be me or you.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah.
We'll get kicked out. Yeah, we'll go and eat with the crew. That's fine.
That's fine. But I know I speak on your behalf when I say a big thank you to Sonas Bathrooms for being our awards podcast sponsor. And if you're going to KBB Birmingham, make sure you pick up our special show issue. This is where you'll get the show's floor plan, and there's loads of sort of helpful articles, and it's all around the theme of growth. And if you're attending the awards, remember the welcome reception starts at 6:30, where you'll get a free drink on arrival. So join me in our next episode after the awards, when I'll be bringing you all the highlights, the winners, the stories of the night, and it's going to be a much needed and much deserved celebration of the very best the KBB industry has to offer. So thanks, Andy, for joining me today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the other side. See you then.